So by the title of this week's video, you probably think that I am with child, and I am not, but the title is not clickbait because I am going to be telling you names that I will not be giving my future son. It's just that this is not 9 months into the future, probably like 5 years. Hey guys, it's Olivia and I'm back with another video. So I'm sure that a lot of people have heard names that they like, or they read a character's name in a book that they really liked and they're like, ooh, maybe I'll name my future child that. No, just me. I don't know, but I definitely have. Even though I'm only 19 and I don't plan to have a child now, I do have names that I do like, but there's also some names that will not be used specifically for my future son and or sons. And these names vary depending on who I marry. Let me explain. Let's say I married somebody named Bob Joe Williams. We are not naming our son Bob Joe Williams Jr. I personally just don't want to name my son whatever junior. And it's not that I think there's anything wrong with it. There are people in my family who are juniors. It's just that I personally don't want to. And there are potential exceptions to this rule. For example, if I married someone named Bob Joe Williams the 13th, then I'm not gonna not name our son Bob Joe Williams the 14th. Like, I'm not gonna be the person who ruins that tradition. So I will name our son that, not necessarily because I want to, but out of a feeling of obligation. Another much smaller potential situation that I would potentially name my son after my husband is if, let's say, I married someone named Bob Joe Williams Jr., then I would potentially name our son Bob Joe Williams the third, but like a much smaller potential chance. Because if you were blah 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 the 13th, then that's a family tradition that's been going on for generations and generations and generations. But if you are blah 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 junior, that's not a tradition. A tradition is something that has to be recurring. It has to happen more than once. So your father's name was Bob Joe Williams and your name is Bob Joe Williams Jr. That's not a tradition. Then the passing of the name has only been done one time. So there's like the potential for me to change my mind in that situation, but the potential is like 3%. So if I do marry someone named blah 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 junior, we can talk about it, but like most likely not. But if your name is Bob Joe Williams, we are not starting this tradition of Bob Joe Williams Jr. and then our grandchild is Bob Joe Williams III. No. If the tradition isn't already in place, me and you, we're not starting it. And I know that that's unfair. And you want to know why I know it's unfair? Because, as I've said, I've thought of names that I really like. So whether or not guys want to admit it, I'm sure that there are some men out there who have thought about their future children's names, right? So if you've been thinking of, oh, when I grow up, I want to name my son after myself, and then you marry someone like me who's like, haha, no, then that's not fair, because I wouldn't feel good if you shut down one of my names, so I know that you're not going to feel good if I shut down one of yours. So when I think about it that way, I realize that that's completely hypocritical, but at the same time, I really don't want to. So as I've said, there are names that I really do like. Let's say that Steven was one of those names, right? If I married somebody named Steven, then Steven is no longer on my baby name list anymore. So it's like my name that I like changes depending on who I marry. If I marry someone who with my favorite name, the name that I was like, oh yeah, my first son, I'm naming him that. If I marry somebody with that name, then guess who's not naming their son that anymore? Me. So yes, even if it's a name that I absolutely love, you already have the name. Therefore, I don't want to name our son that. And that doesn't necessarily mean that, like, if you really wanted to name our son after you, that we couldn't. Our son could have the same middle name as you, or our son could have your first name as his middle name. My middle name is my mom's first name. One of my brothers has the same middle name as my father. It all works out. You can still name your kids after yourself, just not the exact same first, middle, and last. But then again, that's just my opinion. Just to reiterate, like, if you are a junior who is watching this, I don't think there's anything wrong with your name. There's nothing wrong with it. I am related to people who are juniors and they have wonderful names. But I personally just don't want to do it. So anyways, that is my opinion on that topic. If you have opinions on juniors or any sort of other name, feel free to comment it down below and we can have a discussion in the comment section. But with all that being said, that's all for this week's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you think your friends will enjoy it, be sure to share it with them. All my social media links will be down below in case you want to follow me on there. Be sure to subscribe to my channel because I make new videos every Monday, and I'll see you next Monday with a new video.